what are we doing tonight? So, crusty suspension. This is the last corner, so this is the last, literally the last one to do. We've got a tiny little bit of work to do on the back one, and then, you know, obviously you can see this has come off when we did a bit of welding on there. Touching up, filling on that side. But this is the main job, so this is literally, like I say, it's the last one to be done. So what we're going to do is strip all this crusty shit off, get rid of those shit brakes, get rid of those shit rotors, new suspension arms on, new brake lines, check the ABS sensors, check all that. Check that, make sure that doesn't break, that's not too crusty. Obviously redo the top mounts, but yeah, let's get the Alfords out and crack on. Before we do start, just look how pretty does she look, even when she's at some funny ass angle. She's a bonny looking car. She needs to, where does she feature on the where is she, where's the BM? Where's the bloody reg? There she goes. Right, first plan of attack is caliper off. Caliper is off, and I do know, just from when I bought this car, that is not a standard e36 328 standard caliper. That is a 330 e36 caliper what the guy before me put on. So genuine BMW bit, don't know if they're worth anything. So that's that, and he did also put the 330 discs on as well, because they're bigger, so they suit. It's a simple swap over. Right, next job, rotor off. Rotor is off. There she goes. Pretty crusty. Next job, we'll investigate that, see what the bearing's like, but for what these hubs cost. Anyway, I think we're just going to stick another one on. I thought that does look pretty clean, so there's no looking like any water's got in. Anyway, right, next job is let's disconnect the hub and the wheel bearing from the strut and the lower arm. This is going to be one of them moments where you just go, please don't break, please don't break, please don't break. It's a bit stiff. And we're lucky, she's free. Cannot tell you how many times these little buggers break. Anyway, let's get it off. This is the first time I've used this little bugger. We did, what do we used to use? Just used to use one of these forks and bash it out, but she bugger is not moving. So let's see if this does the job. Just going to film it. There she goes. Why have I never used these before? Look at that. I am impressed. I don't know what, about 15 quid. I think I got that from Alfords again. There you go, Alfords, if you want to sponsor me. But yeah, I am impressed. That's how I bash it doing the other side. Hub is off. There she is. Next we'll get front strut off and suspension. Hopefully that's not too hard. Look at all this crusty shit. Front suspension, or strut, whatever you want to call it, is off. Look at those. Bilstein. I do know, again, they're not original. They were, or are, e36 M3 suspension springs on 25mm E-back lowering springs, if I remember from what the guy says. But again, they've been on some time, so we'll clean those up. Don't know, somebody might want to buy them. But yeah, right, next job is brake line off. Brake line is not off because that needs soaking, so I don't want to bugger that up, because even though it looks a bit crusty, it's not too bad from what I can see. So we'll come back to that bad boy. Right, next job, where this can be either good news or bad news, but get this arch lining off, see if anything's hid behind there. Arch liner off. Let's have a look. A bit of crust there, but that's fine. And she's good. Yeah. And even if we look at the arch, yeah, or wing, should I say? That's a wing, yeah. A sign of crash damage in there, always a good sign. Just needs to clean up, and she is good. So is that. Right, next job, bomb arm. Right, so bottom arm not off yet because I cannot get this bugger out, and I'm going to have to get some proper tonk, and it's late at night so I don't want to piss the neighbours off, so that's a job for tomorrow I reckon. But we'll start having a look at getting steering rack off. It's off, so bottom wishbone or arm, whatever you want to call it, that's off. I'm going to scrap pile. Let's try and get the steering rack off, which is, yeah, pretty simple, as in the two front bolts, but getting the bloody knuckle off the steering joint is becoming a bit tricky. Let me show you. So there she is, that's the steering sort of knuckle joint, whatever you want to call it, and it's that little solder that's true. Yeah, I just can't get the fucker off. So let's go underneath. I'm not going to bore you with me smashing shit to bits, but I'll get that off, I'm sure. If not, we'll cut the bugger off. So doing it the long way round, taking all the pipes off, and then at least it gives a bit of room to manoeuvre. But that's the power steering sort of coolant pipe. Did think could I save it, but then obviously I couldn't tool it out, so I bent it anyway and it cracked, so it's a good job. Did check that, because if I hadn't done when I bent it, it would probably go when I was driving anyway. So yeah, I've already looked at the price of this, and cheapest you can see at the moment is like 125 quid for that solder. And do you need it? Yeah, I mean, does that do much cooling where it's positioned right, sort of tucked away under everything anyway? So is there that much air getting to it? Don't know. Does the power steering get that hot? Don't know. I need to look into that, because I don't fancy paying 125 quid one of them little sodders. Right, let's crack on. Next pipe off, that's the feed pipe to the power steering rack, which, even though it's a bit crusty, it looks alright, so we'll clean it up and see what that's like before we jump in and spend, I don't know, a bit pitted. Anyway, we'll worry about it later on. So that's the next bit that's off. It's actually now just get the actual rack off itself. I don't know how clear this is going to come out, but that is a right twat to get off. I don't know if I'm just been a weak ass weakling or not, but I'm trying to pry it open. So I'm a screwdriver, and just to open the sort of jaws, if you like, of the spline, I had to use set more grips to act as something to pry against, and then I've got it to move a bit with some right force behind it. It's just a case of getting pry bar in. Come on, you fucker! And just trying to pry it out bit by bit, but it's a two-handed jobby, so wish me luck, and I'll try and get this motherfucker out. Finally, that sodding come out. So while under here you can see engine mount, so we can prod it a bit, even though it's just the sort of base that's a bit crusty. I don't know, I imagine, well, I'm tipping their original, a little too bad, but at the same time, you're daft not to, while we're pissing around under these, we're obviously going to get this cross member off anyway and clean it anyway, so we're going to have to support the engine and take all this off. So it'd be a bit stupid not to replace the engine mount. I can't see the other one, but where is it? There, we see it, that's still the same crusty. So anyway, yeah, right, let me pull this out and show you the steering rack. Steering rack finally off. That was a bit of a task. It was just this sodding little end that's proving the fucker, but you can see it's pretty crusty anyway. So yeah, again, it's just crusty in it. That side I did change, but I never changed the inner sort of joint, so that's, and obviously went to a purple tag. So one more job off, that can go on scrap pile, and that's it. That is all the shit cleaned off, and there's the new rack. So we can just salvage what bits we need off this, which is very little, and yeah, then it's googling and spending more dollar. Before we crack on that, I will show you what we're fitting on to all the newbies, which are obviously replicated on the other side. So I'll drop down here. Hello bike. So what we got? So M Sport front strut, standard. I mean, they're a Bilstein, however you want to pronounce it anyway. new top mount, new spring, e36 M3 discs, floating rotors, not bloody cheap, Porsche 998 caliper. These two for the rear, height adjustable because the rear were too low. Got a Powerflex bush which I've got to put into that. Believe it or not, they are new, it's just that they've been chucked around for the past 4 years. So inner and outer tie rods, obviously brake line to fit, oil catch can which we've already touched on a bit on another, and then we're going back to standard hoses because I didn't like them cheap shitty eBay red jobs. So shiny parts, part bin, and again bit of surface rust on there because they've been sat around for the last 3 years. One of those let's just fucking do it jobs, innit? So I'm gonna take off front cross member, which is up there, and bottle on the other side, so I need to drop that arm, level the car up, support engine, support car, and then yeah, remove that bad boy. No, engine doesn't drop out or something equally as shitty like that. So yeah, it's the biggest job, bit of a scary job, so it's just them have to support the engine. But fuck it, you know what's worse that can happen? Squashed and died. Can you tell I'm a little bit scared of getting squashed under the car? So yeah, got no TT with the supports, but yeah, nobody wants to die in their own garage, do they? So body supported on a couple of 2-ton axle stands, the gearbox at the back just after the mount, that's supported. Under the oil pan, that's supported. We'll leave the jack in, obviously that's not bearing any weight anyway, but then what we can do is start doing the engine mounts both sides, and then 2 bolts either side of the cross member. That's as far as I can see is all that is, and then that'll drop that, we can clean that up and then get all that crusty bit done. So let's hope I don't mind you. So let's just hope I don't die under here. Right, so a little progress getting on there, and engine mounts, as I said, you know, a bit crusty, but it looked okay, but obviously not. Let's have a look up there. So that's top of the engine mount. I only undid the bottom bolt, but that's meant to be attached. So even though, you know, I couldn't tell with driving, that was kind of shitty long time, but without just being literally sat on top of there, not good, is it? That just shows you, doesn't it? So yeah, check your engine mounts. These aren't expensive and not that hard to change if you think it's a big job, because you can't get them out without dropping subframe. If you can see, frame's dropped, just need to disconnect that side, take it off the wishbone because I couldn't get to the bloody nuts with Allen key. Check the other engine mount, I imagine it's just as shitty and crusty as that one and in the same condition. So yeah, we is getting there. You will come off, you little fucker. That's the time when I think I should have bought a bloody blowtorch, because I just had to get some fucking heat into that to melt it off there, because would it bugger it come off? Woohoo! Right, I think that's where we're going to leave tonight's video, and then next video we'll pick up, we'll start sorting through all this scrappy shit and seeing what we keep and what we're not. But thanks again for watching. If you've got this far, you deserve a medal, because I would have turned off a long time ago. If you want to subscribe, I won't bother, because all my videos are going to be as shit and boring as this, but if you do, you'll go up for punishment. Please leave me some comments. Well, I said please leave me some comments. You can leave me some comments if you want, and you can give me some shit. I know my videos are shit, not as good as all this crap that's on the floor, but yeah. Right, thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.